You know, you walk into a massive sports bar on a Sunday, you look up, and 50 screens are perfectly synced on the exact same play. We just kind of assume it's Wi-Fi magic, right?
Yeah, totally.
But, I mean, behind the scenes is this heavy-duty, hardwired labyrinth of enterprise hardware, and there's an entire subculture of highly specific technicians keeping it alive. So, welcome to your custom deep dive. Today, we're looking at a highly technical product and catalog page from HDTV Supply, specifically zeroing in on the Vitec AVPLY-M M9305 media player. Our mission today is to decode the specs of this specific device, really to reveal the hidden, massive-scale infrastructure of professional audiovisual systems that surround us every single day. So, okay, let's unpack this.
Right, let's do it.
On paper, the Vitec M9305 seems pretty straightforward. It's got one HD AV HDMI output, 32 gigs of built-in storage, power over Ethernet, which is PoE 802.3 AF, and an included audio portal CAL. So, I mean, it's really tempting to look at this as just the industrial, hard hat-wearing cousin of like a Roku or an Apple TV, you know?
Right, I get why you'd say that. But, well, a consumer streaming stick pulls its own content and acts independently. This thing is built to be a drone in a massive hive. And what's fascinating here is how the specs reflect that hive mentality. It utilizes PoE.
Which means it gets power and data through just one single cable, right?
Exactly, yeah, which is, table stakes for enterprise deployment.
Hmm.
But pairing that with the included Audio Portal Client Access License, or the CAL, means you're executing full remote management for hundreds of endpoints. You aren't touching a single power brick or updating firmware room by room.
Right.
The central server just pushes the exact same uncompressed data and updates to every unit simultaneously over the network cable.
Wow. Which fundamentally changes how you design the physical space. You're routing everything back to a single central nervous system.
If we connect this to the bigger picture,
Yeah.
you see why that hardwired central management is just so vital. When you explore the rest of the HDTV Supply catalog, you hit their Wolfpack matrix switchers.
Oh, right.
We're talking massive hardware hubs, routing up to 160 different inputs to 160 distinct outputs at once for massive sports bars and video walls.
Okay, but wait. I look at a 160 display physical matrix, and part of me immediately questions the massive cabling footprint. With modern enterprise wireless access points, couldn't a venue just, I don't know, cast these streams over a dedicated Wi-Fi network? I know Wi-Fi occasionally drops, but wiring 160 individual endpoints feels a bit archaic.
It feels archaic until you consider packet collision and bandwidth throttling.
Okay, fair.
In a crowded stadium or a massive bar, you've got thousands of cell phones just polluting the RF spectrum. If you try to push 50 synchronized 4K streams wirelessly, the bandwidth just chokes.
It just completely breaks down.
Yeah, a physical matrix switcher relies on dedicated point-to-point bandwidth path. There are no packet collisions. It guarantees that frame number 4000 arrives in display number 1 and display number 160 at the exact same millisecond. That uncompressed reliability is non-negotiable in Pro AV.
So managing that massive scale requires intense, highly specific technical knowledge. Which brings us to the culture, right? The customer reviews for HDTV Supply highlight this perfectly. They hold this impressive 96% 4 or 5-star rating.
Which is high for enterprise tech.
It is, but here's where it gets really interesting. Look at this 5-star review. The customer wrote, quote, "The staff was less than friendly but answered my question." 5 stars.
Yeah. That is the Pro AV industry in a nutshell. When a technician is dealing with a 160-screen deployment, like trying to solve complex EDID handshakes or fixing a 4K and 1080p resolution mismatch 10 minutes before a global broadcast goes live.
The stress must be insane.
Immense. They don't need a cheerleader on the support line. They need a surgeon. An immediate, accurate technical solution from a gruff engineer is infinitely more valuable than an hour of polite troubleshooting.
So what does this all mean? It tells you that in the high-stakes world of live AV, functionality is really the only currency. Like, you're trading customer service cheerfulness for accurate, immediate technical solutions.
Exactly. And this raises an important question about the hidden layers of the physical spaces we occupy. Devices like the Vitec M9305 are the invisible building blocks of public spaces. They're doing this incredibly heavy lifting right under our noses, completely unnoticed until something breaks.
So true. So, next time you are sitting at an airport gate or a crowded sports bar and you look up at a massive, perfectly synchronized video wall, take a second to look past the screens. Ask yourself, where is the hidden labyrinth of matrix switchers in the walls? And more importantly, who is the grumpy but brilliant technician keeping it all running?